Desire, I Want to Turn Into You
Thank God.
by Caroline Polachek. It is 12 songs, 45 minutes long. We did a track off of Blood and Butter EP a few weeks ago. Um, Before we actually got like fully into this record,
Yeah.
just to kind of get an idea of it and everything. But overall, now, like when you get a sense of the whole idea and the whole premise of the record, this is a phenomenal project.
Yeah, Caroline
Um,
Polachek has released Pang in 2019, so she's like starting to get out there. This is her second album
mhm.
release. You know how we feel about second albums. More on that later. But yeah, I really dug the EP rollout leading up to this.
Yep.
You had Welcome to My Island, Sunset Billions, my personal favorite, Bunny is a Writer, which you see as the third track on here.
Mhm.
A really good anthem, and I'll continue like dropping it again. It's a really good anthem for like being unowned, like being a person who does like not belong to anyone. Like that's a very good anthem for that kind of stuff. And yeah, really stuck out to me that way. But the overall album, while in a typical indie fashion, does feel kind of like discombobulated with a title like Desire, I Want to Turn to You, like any of the other like titles on it, like Fly to You or A Crude Drawing of an Angel. Like it feels almost like a folk indie track, the way a lot indie album, the way these things are titled. But what you really get is like a subversive indie rock pop record that is definitely going to be one of the ones to watch from this year overall because yeah, Caroline Polachek has a really good way of tapping into the best sounds of indie and spinning it into her own way using electronic elements, using traditional guitar, bass, etc. elements
Mhm.
without drawing either of them too much and without like yeah, overstaying any of their welcomes. It's a really good mix.
Yeah, it is. Like example, the opening track of "Welcome to My Island" is like gets you an idea of what sound you're gonna get with like a lot of different indie tropes, along with experimenting with the vocals, with electronics, with a bunch of stuff. So you're not, you're gonna listen to a very unique project and a unique sound, and you get that throughout the record. It like I think the only critique I have really is it is a little discombobulated, as you said. It is a little all over the place with some of the sounds where it's not necessarily super cohesive throughout the entire thing, but overall, it's good. Like the opening, Welcome to My Island, Pretty Impossible, and then Bunny's a Rider, like they all flow well together. But then, like towards like the middle of it, you get a little interesting with it, like Crew Drawing of an Angel, I believe, and then Fly to You with Grimes and Ditto. That's where it's like you get a little bit more experimental with it. Like Fly to You is, you know, drum and bass, and that's something that we've been getting a lot this year, and that's something I'm going to talk about more on the Say the Music when we get to that point, because I'm getting a lot of drum and bass inspired tracks this year so far. And but I like it in the way that this one's done, and I actually really like the features of it as well, because that's the only track that has features. Which I was surprised. I thought there was actually going to be more. I thought like maybe Charlie XCX would hop on here because Caroline Polachek's been on a bunch of her projects and stuff throughout the years. So I was kind of
They have good
expecting to have her
overlap in
here.
like the most positive way possible. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then to see her on here, I was like, oh, that's interesting. But
You have Grimes and Dito on Fly to You.
yeah, that's the only one. Towards like the end of the record, Blood and Butter, Hope Drunk, Ever Asking, this is now where you get that discombobulatedness because, you know, oh my god, Blood and Butter, tongue
Yes.
twister. Like it starts off as like just like it's standard indie track, and then it like kind of erupts into like drum and bass inspired, and then it goes back to like this weird indie sound. So that's like some things I wish were refined a little bit more with how it was, but I mean that's just something you're gonna get with more experimental music. So, and that's something that I'm not gonna hold against just because of that. Um, Overall, I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of sounds with this. This record's gonna take me a while to really divulge and get into fully as well because there's just so much into it. I only got one good listen through, and I'm sad. I wish I had more time to get through a bit more and everything. So, but oh, like overall, I really enjoyed it a lot, and I'm glad that the state of indie and everything, that we're getting a bit more experimentation. Like we're really starting to get more and more people trying to step out of their comfort zones. We're getting out of this 90s centric themes and stuff and tropes that we've been getting for a while. And now we're really getting into, okay, what is the new sound going to be? What is the next thing now? So,
Yeah.
which I'm excited for. And that's always what makes me, it's what makes me get up in the morning.
Yeah, it's exciting, especially doing this is the first time we're doing Audioface the beginning of a decade, and so we get to really
Holy
test
shit. Yeah, that's right.
yeah, we get to really test ourselves. It's like, okay, I don't think we really I think in retrospect we kind of have an idea of like what the sounds of the tens was, but other than the
Yeah,
fact
oh,
that like we
absolutely.
hated a lot of it, like it's there's some neo pop slash R&B over here. There's some electronic music over there. There's some trap music
Trap over here.
right over in that corner. Like, there's a lot, and maybe we'll do that in our State of Music 2023 conversation to like kind of figure out, okay, in retrospect, what was the sound of the 2010s? Because I think we know it, but like we don't
But
get to
now,
share it yet.
three years removed from the 2010s, we
Yes.
have a good idea now.
Yeah, but also, of course, what we're always trying to do is figure out, okay, what is it at bare minimum? What's the next year going to look like in music? And yeah, beyond that. And so I am Caroline Polachek is definitely one of those artists who I've had the pleasure of seeing like live in one context at least. And
Oh
so
shit.
yeah, and so I think that she is going to be like one of those indie people who like stays within that realm um over the next couple of years, and I'm really excited to see what comes out of her because much like a Mitski or a I always compare Mitski and Mac DeMarco together because of that history, but like she is one of those indie and also flirting with electronic music. Like she's one of those staples, and I'm very happy to have one of those as we get into this new decade because yeah, you get a lot of people who just suck and who aren't consistent and aren't really good. And Caroline Polachek, I found, is the direct opposite of that. She is very consistent. She is very good, and the production that she surrounds herself with is pushing indie pop, indie rock, whatever sound she's trying to go for, it's pushing it forward, and it's something that's very enjoyable.
Hmm.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
All right. Arbitrary scale.
Arbitrary scale. We do arbitrary scales every week on Audio Faces. Our review is our review. We said what we said about it. We felt what we felt about it. And rather than give you an arbitrary ranking number or a letter grade, we're going to tell you how we feel using the ranking system that we change every single week, which this week will be U.S. Rail Company. Why did I do this, man? This week, I'm going to give this the old. I'm going to give Caroline Polachek the old Union Pacific.
Yeah, good man. Good
Good
man.
man. Good man.
We're gonna own the railways. You listen here. You listen here. HW. We're gonna own the railways. That way I can transport all the oil and do it. We're gonna strike a deal with Union Pacific.
You can convince Republicans of nationalizing railways and other like major infrastructure as long as you convince them there's oil involved. Yeah, why shouldn't the government own the oilways? And all the socialists are like, yeah, sure, okay, yeah,
all of us
totally.
are like, we're like
Looking both ways, like what?
left, right. Yes.
Like, oh my God, we're actually gonna get away with this. Yes,
It's like,
Republicans. Yes, you should feel empowered to take ownership over those railways. We're just like, wow, we won. Oh shit, okay. Oh man.
oh man.
Okay,